Top of the afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We have a little dyno run we're going to do this afternoon. We have a 3-foot Stihl lightweight bar with some brand new Oregon skip chain, first sharpening on the teeth. We'll double check the stops. We're going to run a completely bone stock 400, which is the saw that's barred up currently. The wrap kit did not come with that saw. I put it on myself. It was $235, I think it was, and some chump change, I guess. It did not come with 2 bar nuts, however. So if you're going to upgrade your 400 to a wrap saw, make sure and buy yourself some bar nuts, because $235 for all the associated parts to upgrade doesn't actually include a set of bar nuts. I thought that was interesting. It's not in a good way interesting, though. We have a Psy-Ko version, actually Psy-Ko S, with the torque tweak, MS400 on the right without the bar and chain. I did this test on this particular log, I don't know, the other day with a different set of dogs, and I thought I better actually get completely as close to perfect, even Steven with the testing. And so we have 2 sets of dogs that are the same essentially. So we're going to give it another run. That has the AM number 4 version air cleaner system. I think that does the best out of all of them. As far as what I can tell in my testing, it feels stronger. The times are a little bit faster than the AM number 1 version, which is enclosed like what we see in stock form, so you could run that one in the rain. It's only a little bit slower than this particular version, so I thought that was interesting. Now this log is really heavy. If we want to look at why I'm saying that, we can look over here at the center block that's like wadded up, completely crushed. I actually wrecked 2 center blocks getting this particular log airborne. So, like setting them down on it, crushing them. So, it's really heavy, which I guess that kind of means it's pretty dense. We'll take a look at the elevation of the stops, just to verify what we have going on. So now, what that means to me is, if this stock 400 rated at 5.4 horsepower with a 3-foot bar, you can see they're just a fuzz above the Oregon gauge. At least I hope you can see that. It's the 60 thousandths version, 1.5 millimeter, if you will. We're just a fuzz above about 10 thousandths or so. I guess I kind of interrupted myself with the gauge it concept. If this stock saw can pull this much bar with the depth gauges, riders, rakers, stops down at about 50 thousandths, I guess that has something to say for the chain angles on the teeth. The teeth angles, I guess, essentially. There's a lot of talk about chain on the internet. It seems like everybody has their opinions. It's a lot like mix oil, I think, in some regards. What needs to happen, blah, 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 whatever that looks like. A lot of people are putting videos on YouTube talking about chains. I kind of wonder on a conceptual level how much they actually understand. I don't think any of them are running a brand new chain with stops down around 50 on a 3-foot bar on a little micro mini saw that's 66.7 cc's, I guess. I think it's 66.8 technically if you round to one place. So why I call it a dyno run is because we're running 3 foot of bar on this little saw. It's kind of a step up from a micro howler, if you will. It's like a mini howler, actually, because they come alive when you hop them up. I'm going to warm this saw up off camera, and then we're going to go at it. this operation just for kicks. We're right at 34 inches as it looks right here. It's a little bit further, it's almost 35 inches this way, but cross section we're about 34 or something like that. Okay, so that saw has the stock oiler in it. They don't oil well enough to do a 3-foot bar. The 562 kind of gets away with it. The 400 and 362s do not. The oiler I've upgraded on the saw behind. It has the 0.8 travel, the pump travel, excuse me, the piston travel in the pump. So it's basically like what you'd see on like a 046, I think some of the early 460s, and even some of the really early 461s, but at some point they switched over to the 1.1 travel, kind of just across the board. But I figured that saw is going to see a 30, maybe 32, and the 0.8 was going to be fine. From what I can tell, it even actually does well oiling this 3-foot bar. So I was kind of just experimenting and checking some things out. I think I'm going to fit this saw here, which is my saw, with a 1.1 travel stroke length pump, I think, if you will. I think that's what they're saying essentially. And then see how that does differential wise, if it, you know, does a super better job or super awesome job or whatever. We might have to upgrade the other one, but from what I can tell, the 0.8 does fine on a 30, 28, it's stellar. 32 it does fine and even oils well on this 3-foot bar. So we'll change the bar and chain off camera and spare you from the agony of watching me bumble, and then I guess at the same time from me, save me from the embarrassment as I bumble along, if you will. We actually gained a little bit in diameter. We're 34 and about 3/8 right there. We also gained this nice notch section right here, and there's something hard right there. On the way down, I was noticing that I was getting into something hard. I could tell, I could feel it essentially. The stock saw had nothing. So the zip saw had all the hard going. That is about 3 3/4 or something like that. I'm thinking that it's still won by multiple seconds. So if you want to talk about dyno run for a 67 rounding, of course, cc saw. So if we arrive at that number by a 50mm bore. This has that magnesium piston, pretty sure it's ceramic around the coating, around the outside of that piston, coated with ceramic, some kind of ceramic material, I guess, essentially. It has a 34mm stroke. If you round to one place, it is 66.8 cc's, I think it is. At least that's what I'm remembering. It's been a while since I calced that out. But back on track, I can tell from here to here with the bar, this saw is kicking butt on the stock one. Once we got into the knot, it was kind of slowing down. I could really feel it on a personal level. I'm trying to underbuck it especially. That's bad news, underbucking in a knot. So if we're 5 seconds faster or something, I think in the other run with the different dogs we were about 10, 11 going both ways or something like that. I'm hopeful we're like about 7, especially on the underbuck. But I guess that's saying something. So if you want to talk about dyno run, 3-foot bar on that saw, that's a dyno run. Alrighty, thanks for watching this session. Have a blessed day wherever you might be on God's green earth.